Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. The city of Memphis, Tennessee has publicly released video showing 5 Memphis officers beating 29-year-old Tyree Nichols on January 7th. Nichols died just 3 days later. The incident prompted second-degree murder charges against 5 officers in outrage at the latest instance of police brutality in America. After the video was released, Shelby County District Attorney Steve Mulroy said in a statement, quote, "The video was released because it was important to the community and to Tyree's family as they want the world to be their witness and feel their pain. But as we witness the tragic end of Tyree's life, I also urge you to remember Tyree Nichols as his family does, with his big smile, skateboarding, and being a loving family member," end quote. Now, demonstrations across the country are taking place, including in the city of Boston. This past weekend, more than 100 people gathered near the steps of the Massachusetts State House to demand justice, change, and accountability in connection to Nichols' death. If you'd like to donate to Tyree Nichols Memorial Fundraiser, go to gofundme.com/Tyree Nichols. Last Thursday, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's COVID-19 Vaccine Advisory Panel voted unanimously to update all COVID-19 vaccines so they contain the same ingredients as the 2-strain shots that are now used as booster doses. This means young children and others who haven't been vaccinated may soon be eligible to receive 2-strain vaccines that more closely match the circulating viruses as their primary series. The FDA must sign off on the committee's recommendation, which it is likely to do before it goes into effect. Last Thursday's vote is part of a larger plan by the FDA to simplify and improve the way COVID-19 vaccines are given in the states. People who have had their primary series, which is nearly 70% of all Americans, were advised to get the new 2-strain booster late last year in an effort to upgrade their protection against the latest variants. But currently, only about 2/3 of Americans have had the full primary series of shots, and only about 15% of the population has gotten an updated bivalent booster. The city of Boston began sampling wastewater from 11 manholes in neighborhoods across the city earlier this month. The most recent report shows that Roxbury has the highest COVID-19 infection levels in the city, along with Allston, Brighton, Mattapan, and Dorchester. Rosendale, West Roxbury, and Charlestown were among the city's neighborhoods that had the lowest COVID-19 infection levels. Public health officials responded to the disparities in the different areas of Boston, saying, quote, "The most likely factors include vaccination and booster rates, access to care, systemic health inequities, the number of residents working in jobs that put them in close proximity to others, and the number of residents that live in crowded conditions," end quote. The Commission plans to use these samples to create more targeted interventions in neighborhoods experiencing higher levels of COVID, including deploying masks and sponsoring vaccinations. Although the state is not reporting daily COVID-19 health trends anymore, the Mass DPH is still monitoring and reporting health trends on a weekly basis. On January 26, newly released metrics show that over 68,000 molecular tests were conducted and 5,797 new positive cases were reported in the last week. As of January 24th, 266 people are hospitalized in Massachusetts and 86 are in the ICU. 168 new deaths were also reported in the last 7 days. The town of Braintree also continues to monitor COVID data from the state. The town hall hasn't released any new positive cases in the last week. The town hall website currently shows a total of 11,539 positive cases since the start of the pandemic. There have been no new fatalities reported in 9 months, keeping Braintree's total deaths at 137. Thanks for watching Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more after the break.
Each year, the flu makes millions of people sick. Getting a flu shot is the best way to protect yourself. Within 2 weeks, the shot helps your body produce antibodies that fight flu germs. Protect yourself. Protect your family. Get your flu shot today.
Welcome back. More than 100 Braintree teachers demonstrated outside a school committee meeting last week as teachers have been working without a contract since the start of the school year. As the meeting began last Monday, the group marched through the Colbert School Administration building, chanting "Fair contract and now." They also stood by the windows of the meeting room holding signs with messages such as "More than praise, we need a raise," and "I'm taking a night off from my second job to do this." In addition to a pay raise for teachers, the union is seeking raises for educational support professionals and changes in working conditions, such as guaranteed daily preparation time for elementary school teachers. Plans are underway to add a residential development to the South Shore Plaza. Central Florida-based developer Zom Living is currently in negotiations with South Shore Plaza's owners Simon Property Group and the town of Braintree to build 495 units split over 2 buildings for what will be considered the residences on Granite. Banker and Tradesman, the Massachusetts Real Estate and Data Organization, reported that the developer has already reached an agreement to purchase the lot for the buildings for $20 million. But the project will need clearance from both the Braintree Town Council and the Planning Board, the latter of which must approve and issue a special permit. Braintree police are investigating a series of robberies of airbags stolen out of 9 Honda CR-Vs last Thursday. Police said the affected residents all live on Washington Street near the Quincy line. If the car was locked, the burglar broke the window to get the airbags. Police have asked anyone in the neighborhood with camera footage showing suspicious activity to contact the Braintree Police Department. Braintree residents will have a chance to suggest changes within the town's government at 2 separate Charter Review Committee meetings, scheduled for Saturday, March 4th. Peter Morin, the chairman of the Charter Review Committee, said there is a general satisfaction with the town's form of government, but there are always things that can be improved upon. Morin said the committee is seeking ideas from the public at the start of its review, rather than developing its recommendations and asking residents for their comments. The meetings are scheduled for 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. on Saturday, March 4th in the Cahill Auditorium of Braintree Town Hall. The Braintree Trash and Recycling Center released an article reminding residents that winter snow and winds makes it even more important to have cart lids closed to avoid items tumbling out. Bags or items should not be piled high in the carts as it prevents lids from being closed securely. Also, carts should not be placed on top of snow piles as this may cause them to tip and spill. If you have any questions on what you can and can't recycle, please go to recyclesmartma.org and enter the item in question for an immediate answer, or visit braintreema.gov/recycling to see all the trash and recycling related information for Braintree. Thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back with more stories in the area.
Did you know your teenager's brain is more likely to get addicted to nicotine than yours? The tobacco and vaping industries do. They target teens with their products and try to cover up the fact that there's nicotine in them. Talk with your kids about the real dangers of vaping.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now let's get right into more stories. Governor Maura Healey and Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll announced Wednesday that they are appointing Boston Medical Center CEO Kate Walsh to take over as the state's new Secretary of the Executive Office of Health and Human Services. Walsh will take over the job from Mary Lou Sutters, who has been in the role since former Governor Charlie Baker's first term in 2015. Walsh said, quote, "Together we will work to advance racial health equity, address affordability, spur innovative solutions to our healthcare challenges, and ensure that people live healthy lives," end quote. Teachers in Woburn have started their strike on Monday morning as the Teachers Association and school committee did not come to an agreement on Sunday night. The Woburn Teachers Association says its members have been working without a contract since August 2022 and are asking for higher wages and smaller class sizes. Barbara Locke, the president of Woburn Teachers Association, said, "We do not take our decision to strike lightly and believe that we have exhausted all other options," end quote. After walking out of negotiations, Mayor of Woburn Scott Galvin said during a press conference, quote, "Today we negotiated for 8 hours to try to come up with a deal, again, that works for the teachers, that's fair to the teachers, and is good for our children and the taxpayers. Teachers who voted to take an illegal strike will impact our students' right to their constitutional education," end quote. 3 children are now dead and a woman is still hospitalized after an unimaginable tragedy that occurred at a home in Duxbury. 3 young children died of injuries after allegedly being murdered by their mother, who attempted to commit suicide after. Lindsay Clancy is still hospitalized but has been charged with 3 counts of murder, 3 counts of strangulation, and 3 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. The father of the 3 children, Patrick Clancy, posted a message this Saturday in response to everyone who has rallied around his family over the last week. In the statement, Clancy wrote, quote, "I want to ask all of you that you find it deep within yourselves to forgive Lindsay as I have. The real Lindsay was generously loving and caring towards everyone, me, outside, kids, family, friends, and her patients. The very fibers of her soul are loving. All I wish for her now is that she can somehow find peace," end quote. 26-year-old Thomas Isaac, formerly of Braintree, pleaded guilty to manslaughter and armed robbery charges in the 2017 death of 55-year-old Nelson Torres Santa of Dorchester during a robbery at the man's apartment. On November 13th of 2017, officers and Boston EMS responded to a call for an unknown medical incident. At the scene, officers made entry and located a deceased adult male victim, identified as Nelson Torres Santa. A week later, Isaac was identified as a suspect and taken into custody. Assistant District Attorney Julie Higgins said that Isaac's girlfriend initially entered Torres Santa's apartment to buy drugs from Torres Santa, and Isaac later forced his way in and proceeded to stab and beat him to death. On Monday, Judge Mary Ames sentenced Isaac to 19 to 20 years in prison on the manslaughter charge and to time served on the armed robbery charge. Quincy's annual President's Day Winterfest is scheduled for Monday, February 20th. During the event, shows include the Blue Hills Trailside Museum Birds of Prey, the Rainforest Reptile Show, the Mad Science Fire and Ice Show, ice sculptures by Iceman Craig, and Sasha the Fire Gypsy Fire Show. You can also catch different performances such as puppet shows, laser shows, and Brendan Ryan from NBC's The Voice, and No Static, a Steely Dan tribute band. The President's Day Winterfest will take place from 2 to 7 p.m. on Monday, February 20th at the Hancock Adams Common, located at 1305 Hancock Street. Some shows require free tickets to reserve a space, and for more information, you can visit discoverquincy.com. Thanks for watching Braintree Today. We'll be right back with more in entertainment.
Every home needs a basic emergency supply kit. It should meet the unique needs of the people who live there. Your kit doesn't have to cost a lot. You probably already have many of these supplies, and you can get others at a discount store. Visit mass.gov/beprepared.
Welcome back to Braintree Today. This week in entertainment, we have some new movie and TV show recommendations. First in entertainment comes Shrinking, starring Jason Segel as a grieving therapist who has lost his wife and decides he wants to try a new approach to his loss. Jimmy starts to break the rules by telling his clients exactly what he thinks. Ignoring his training and ethics, he finds himself taking chances and making changes in his people's lives, including his own. You can watch Shrinking on Apple TV Plus starting January 27th. Next in entertainment comes the recently premiered series The Last of Us, based on the 2013 video game of the same name. The series follows Joel and Ellie as they travel across a post-pandemic America, enduring brutal circumstances and ruthless killers along their journey. Joel is tasked with the possibility of smuggling 14-year-old Ellie out of a quarantine zone and across the United States in search of a faint hope for the future of humanity. As the pair depend on each other for survival, they connect through the harshness of the world they live live in. The Last of Us premiered on January 15th. Episode 1 and 2 can be watched on HBO Max, and Episode 3 will be released on January 29th. And finally, in entertainment comes White Noise, following Jack Gladney and his whole family who live in a comfortable suburban life until a nearby train accident causes a chemical leak that releases a noxious black cloud over the region, forcing a massive evacuation. Jack and his family now must leave their home to quarantine at a summer camp after being exposed. Though the family continues to face struggles when they decide to leave, White Noise dramatizes a contemporary American family's attempts to deal with a mundane life while grappling with the mysteries of love, death, and the now possibility of finding happiness in an uncertain world. You can watch White Noise now on Netflix. That'll do it for news today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis, and thank you for watching Braintree today on BCAM TV. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.